Thank you, Carlos. Well, good morning and welcome to Washington, D.C., everyone. What an exciting time to be here with the election tomorrow. And we're meeting just a mile down Pennsylvania Avenue from the Capitol. And I can't help but think that those in Washington could learn something from us as the AICPA and NASBA work together. We are two separate organizations, sometimes with different approaches and sometimes with different ideas, but we're actually able to accomplish great things together, as Carlos noted. Underlying our efforts is a united commitment to achieving results that help the profession and our clients while also protecting the public interest. We don't always agree on things, but we do always work our way to solutions advanced to our shared goals. One goal that always unites NASBA and the AICPA is the pursuit of a quality profession. Quality is high on our minds this year, and we are collaborating on a great many projects that continue the profession's commitment to excellence. Before I get started, I want to thank and congratulate Carlos and Ken for their tremendous leadership during the past year. And I'd like to say that I'm also very much looking forward to working and collaborating with Walter, my counterpart, and the rest of the NASBA leadership in the year ahead. I have no doubt that we are going to continue accomplishing great things and make important strides on a number of important issues. From where I stand, the AICPA's close relationship with NASBA, with lines of communication that are always open, has allowed us to collaborate on solutions to the most pressing issues facing CPAs. Working together with the help of individual state boards of accountancy, state CPA societies, individual CPAs, and accounting firms of all sizes, we've taken some impressive steps. I hope that everyone at this annual meeting will take some time to celebrate those accomplishments and pat yourselves on the back for your contribution of those accomplishments and your contributions. One of our most important collaborations this year was the release in May of the 7th edition of the Uniform Accountancy Act. I consider this a great achievement. Both of our organizations have been concerned about the risk to the public interest because of a loophole in the previous definition of a test. Quite simply, non-CPAs should not be issuing a test reports using AICPA standards, especially with no regulatory oversight. Thanks to NASBA and the AICPA volunteers on the UAA committee, we fixed that problem. More and more states are getting ready to enact legislation to update their accountancy statutes with this new comprehensive definition of a test. The new UAA also includes language permitting CPA firm mobility for test services. As you know, CPA firms already have full mobility with non-attest services, so this harmonizes the treatment of attest services under the UAA with other firm services. I believe this provision is a positive step forward. It acknowledges the ways in which firms that do not have a physical office in a state actually practice across state lines, while also ensuring the public protection and regulatory enforcement powers. The proposal, rightly so, has garnered a great deal of discussion across the country, given its newness and the requirement that we rethink the provisions of attest services. Not every state will want to move on this subject right away, and that's okay. But it is important that we have uniform language in the UAA for those states who do want to adopt CPA firm mobility for attest services. And as more and more states add this provision, we think, as with individual mobility, it ultimately needs to be adopted in all states. There is no doubt that full CPA firm mobility has worked well in over 1/4 of the country that already has it in place. Indeed, during the UAA comment period, that was the message we received from several state boards with CPA firm mobility. Some of these boards also encouraged other states to join them in updating their statutes. Every state board, in cooperation with their state society, will have to examine both the test and firm mobility for attest services and decide if, when, and how they will want to take these issues to their state legislatures. I want all of you to know that the AICPA will stand side by side with NASBA in providing resources and assistance on both of these important issues. Another important area where I'm pleased that the AICPA is working with NASBA is encouraging uniform adoption of the AICPA Code of Professional Conduct. The code is at the epicenter of maintaining the integrity of our profession and the quality of our services. It provides guidance and rules to more than 400,000 AICPA members in public practice, industry, government, and education. The AICPA Professional Ethics Executive Committee, or PEAC, continues to work diligently to develop the best possible code and to ensure that it's evergreen. You may be interested to know that the PEAC recently expanded the regulatory representation on the committee. We are committed to making sure that we have the right balance of voices evaluating and shaping the code, and we believe this shift will move that goal forward. It is our hope that the code will be adopted in whole by all U.S. jurisdictions. CPAs need a single code across the country. When state boards adopt only parts of the code or adopt the code with modifications, it creates confusion and compliance challenges. We would like to work with not only NASBA, but all of you on the uniform adoption. The AICPA believes strongly that your input is important, both through the PEAC's regulatory representatives and through direct communication with AICPA staff. So I hope you will actively engage in this conversation. Our process to evolve the code takes everyone's viewpoint into account, and I can promise you that your voice will be heard. One of the exciting things about being involved in the profession at this time is seeing the profession's massive global change. The AICPA and NASBA share a commitment to ensuring the growth, value, and stature of the CPA credential, not only in the U.S., but also around the globe. That's certainly reflected in the successful overseas expansion of the uniform CPA examination. Since its international launch in August 2011, close to 30,000 exam sections have been administered outside the United States. We're now working to create the next version of the exam. The AICPA's Board of Examiners, half of which are representatives from NASBA, are currently conducting a comprehensive research project known as practice analysis. Its purpose is to determine the knowledge and skills newly licensed CPAs need in today's fast-moving environment. Again, this is our joint commitment to assure continued relevancy. The quality of the exam continues to play a critical role in protecting the public interest. The invitation to comment on proposed changes closes on December 2nd, and we have begun to review stakeholder input. The next full version of the exam will be announced in 2016 and released in 2017. But it is not just the exam that is part of our global outlook. We continue to have important discussions about many other international issues. They include the mission of joint AICPA-NASBA International Qualifications Appraisal Board, the future of our international mutual recognition agreements, the pathways for international CPA candidates to obtain licensure, and the impact to the profession by the recent merger of the Canadian accounting profession. Within all of these issues, the AICPA and NASBA are working side by side to anticipate, respond to, and create an appropriate environment for global success for all U.S. businesses which rely on CPAs for their global success, and for all U.S. credential holders who function in the increasingly global business world. Working together, our two organizations have a lot to be proud of and a lot to look forward to in the coming months. We'll be counting on NASBA and state boards to be critical partners in the AICPA's Enhancing Audit Quality Initiative, which was launched last May. It uses multiple touch points to help auditors maintain excellence in an increasingly complex business environment. No stone will be left unturned. The program looks The program includes a hard look at professional standards and guidance, competency development and learning, peer review, and the ethics enforcement. A discussion paper released on August 7th explains the changes being made and other proposals being explored. The comment period closes in just a few short days, and we've already incorporated some of the feedback and suggestions into the process. While the discussion paper is a major emphasis, our important work in enhancing audit quality has continued for many years. We must be persistent in finding ways to deal with the difficult questions in order to support quality. It will take each and every one of us to move this initiative forward and serve the public interest by continually improving audit quality. And we're not stopping there. As an auditor, I'm particularly excited about the second part of this quality initiative, transforming the peer review program. Specifically, we're looking to evolve peer review to a near real-time monitoring process that marries advanced technologies with human involvement. Sue Coffey and Alan Long shared a lot of that thinking earlier this year at your regional meetings. The end goal is to detect firm and engagement quality issues early on and correct them before the audit is completed and issued. A concept paper explaining our goals for the next generation of peer review will be released in a few weeks. In my mind, this initiative will be one of the most important items on the AICPA's agenda during my term as chair. Real-time, continuous practice monitoring is a long-term effort. Right now, the AICPA Peer Review Board is taking steps to help drive improved performance. For example, it's instituted a process whereby peer reviews are being recalled, and through facilitated state board access, state boards are being notified in situations where firms failed to properly include in their peer reviews certain engagements, such as employee benefit plan audits. The AICPA and NASBA are also exploring ways to utilize the accountant licensee database to compare AICPA and state board information to efficiently detect firms that fail to properly enroll in peer review. I want to just briefly mention one other matter. Earlier this year, the AICPA issued an advisory to CPA firms urging them to review their compliance procedures to ensure they are in conformity with out-of-state registration requirements when performing a test engagements. We want all firms to follow this law, and this is just one way we are helping to educate and promote compliance. I've talked thus far about our various initiatives, but let me switch gears for just a moment and talk about something even more important: people. The only way to truly prepare for and be successful in a complex world is to have the very best people in our profession. We need smart, informed people who are prepared to look at issues and events with a fresh perspective and critical analysis, and we need a profession ready to embrace that new thinking. We also need a profession that looks like our society. We have work to do to ensure all of these goals. By helping the next generation, we help ourselves. Maya Angelou, the incredibly inspiring author who passed away recently, used to say, "If we get, give. If you learn, teach." I mentor several young professionals at my firm. They give me so much more than I give them. I learn not only about new digital and social media resources, but also what the best and the brightest CPAs are looking for within the workplace. Mentoring builds the kind of welcoming environment young professionals want while increasing value to organizations. I challenge each of you to be part of the profession's effort to recruit, retain, and advance CPAs of tomorrow. Promote the profession in your communities, on and off the job. Be an example of the wonderful opportunities that lie ahead when you're a CPA. Our profession can only meet the lofty expectations set for us and by us if we have the very best talent. Today, we are seeing that universities are graduating record numbers of accounting majors, but over the last few years, number of people taking the CPA exam has remained flat. We have to build a bridge. This bridge should carry the students from graduation day to their first day as a CPA, and foster policies to retain the best and brightest among us from the largest talent pool possible. To ensure the best and brightest are steered towards the accounting profession, we have to modernize our learning model. Carlos Johnson recently spoke at the AICPA Council meeting about the vital importance of this initiative. Developing new competencies is not an option, it's a mandate. Education is changing. Everyone, from your grandchildren to your parents and the businesses that CPAs serve, everyone is learning differently. The AICPA convened a broad representation of the profession to study this issue. The Future of Learning Task Force identified solutions that will lead to a more contemporary, powerful, and personal way of learning. Our vision for learning blends traditional learning models with new methods and incorporates competency and testing. For the profession and those we serve, the future will be driven by everyone who has a stake in professional development, and that means all of us. Additionally, the AICPA National Commission on Diversity and Inclusion is doing great work in helping expand our appeal. Recently, the Commission released 2 valuable resources: a toolkit to help businesses attract, recruit, and retain a diverse workforce, and a framework to help businesses evaluate and improve their current diversity and inclusion practices. In conjunction with those efforts, I commend NASBA's leadership, new focus on the examining and promoting diversity among state boards. This is a very important undertaking to prepare the profession for the future. The future is bright. I'm sure of it. I'm reminded of it every time I meet with both new professionals and veteran CPAs at these kinds of events. And I'm certainly reminded of it when I think of all the ways AICPA and NASBA are working together to create quality service by quality people. In 24 hours, America votes to determine the future of our country. Regardless of who wins and who loses, the leadership in Washington can learn something from the leaders in this room and the leaders in the AICPA Council meeting room about quality, about commitment, and about joining together toward common goals. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. I look forward to working with all of you.